Welcome to the Building Business Relationship Show. I'm Matt Stone, and before we officially launch, we're exploring what matters most when it comes to relationships in business. These early episodes are about testing ideas, learning from guests, and hearing what you think belongs in the conversation. So please listen in, share your thoughts, and help shape what the show becomes. I'm super excited about this episode because the guest we have today, Jen Boyle, who's sitting right here, we're going to get to her in just a second. She's exactly the kind of person that I had in mind when I started doing this show. And Jen's in Denver, right? You're based out of Denver.
Yes.
But you've got offices, and we'll get to that in our conversation. You've got offices in multiple cities in the U.S. Jen's got an incredible story from a South Dakota girl, if memory serves. Yeah. I imagine boots and a horse or something. To building a great business for high net worth people. It's a lifestyle management company called More. Jen helps manage the homes and lives of people who have a lot of complexity financially and otherwise to make their lives easier and do it in a discreet way. So trust is the coin of the realm in this business, if there ever were one. So I'm going to leave it at that and let Jen introduce the rest. But I just think your story of entrepreneurship and finding an opportunity, finding where you could do value and build this great business you must have a million stories. We're not even going to get to a fraction of them today, but let's get into the conversation. Jen Boyle, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so grateful to be here.
Now, I didn't do a great job of introducing your company. It's called More. It's at morelm.com, and we'll put that in the show notes. Yeah. But tell me a little bit more about More and its founding that I think would be important for someone to know.
Yeah, you didn't do a bad job. It was pretty good.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I started it about 12, 13 years ago. I just saw the need for it. Our lives are so busy and they keep getting busier, whether you're focusing on stepping up in your career, starting a company, maybe you're an athlete and you have to be in multiple cities, or you're a parent and you're running the kids around and then having to cook a meal and do the laundry. Like, we all are overrun on business and in lifestyle. So I saw the need of people really wanting more time, and where should they prioritize it? Where should they go to a soccer game, or should they be at home doing laundry or running the errands? Like, where and what do they want out of their life? Because we only have a limited amount of time.
Right. And life gets complicated pretty fast. Even if you don't have a ton of money, it can be very complicated. So then if you add on having multiple homes and you're traveling and you have staff and I can only imagine. So a little bit about the founding, because when we first talked, you talked about working early on with some sports, some professional athletes was kind of one of the entrees into realizing, hey, there's a real need in the marketplace. Can you talk a little bit about maybe one of those first stories about who you met and what you realized from meeting them?
Yeah. Well, even the start of it, knowing that there's estate managers and then there's executive assistants, but there was still a gap in there. And I remember sitting down with a ton of CEOs and being surrounded by athletes and just picking apart their brain a little bit. And I had one CEO that couldn't fix a scratch on his wood floor. And we were at lunch, and it was an hour lunch, and he had 11 phone calls, and no one would help fix this dang scratch because it's not worth their time to go out and fix that. I'm always like a principle-based person, so that made me upset. So we walked out of that lunch, and I was like, first of all, I didn't get any of your time, and then second of all, I'm going to fix this scratch. So I was like, give me your credit card and keys. And I went over, and then I saw we don't just have a scratch issue that I'm going to fix. We have a whole house issue, because if his brain was focused on the growth of his company and like being well with his employees and just growing, of course he's not focused on his household. He's just surviving. He needs to sleep and he needs to eat. But you need your house to be somewhat set up like a functioning business for you to be successful successful in all areas. So that's when I made the vision, made the plan, said, here's the type of vendors we need for this household to run, and here's what we're going to do, whether it's setting up the pantry organization so he knows what food he has, having a closet organization so he doesn't keep buying clothes because he can't find his clothes or they're dirty on the floor. So going in, setting up these systems, and then maintaining them on a weekly basis. And then, yeah, it grew right away to like 3 clients, I think, in the first month. And then I really got into the athletes, the agents, the coaches, because they have the same sort of demands and traveling just as much as CEOs or even parents. So
I'm really dialed into when you were talking about that lunch. I could feel in my heart how frustrated I would have been for all the same reasons. I can imagine you just kind of grabbing the bull by the horns and being like, yeah, and he was probably super relieved. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, very, very. Yeah. I think that's why he just gave me all access right away. Yeah. Here you go fix it.
Do it.
Fine.
I love it.
Yeah. And then you just see what people need. You read people, you see their houses, you see their stresses, their pain points, and then you just grow and evolve.
I love the literal and metaphorical significance of a scratch. I mean, we use the term like scratch the surface, and actually when you went in and saw the scratch that he wasn't getting fixed, you're like, this is just scratching the surface of the problems around here.
Absolutely.
And a symptom of like the iceberg underneath, to switch metaphors all of a sudden, is a whole other opportunity. So
yeah.
Fantastic.
Absolutely. And yeah, there's nothing wrong. Like, we all are living kind of in that survival mode on the home front and the lifestyle, and it's because we prioritize different things. So there's nothing wrong with it. There's just coming in and saying, okay, well, if we have a business that's going to be successful, you need a CEO, you need a COO, you need a director, you need the managers, you need the front office, like whatever it is. We just don't have that process ever, or have ever been taught that a house can be run like that as well. So it's just recognizing that and figuring out where you want to spend your time, and then hiring the right people on your house front so you can focus on your priorities.
Now, I have to imagine there's the relationship with your clients that you build, and that was a great example of how you started off with somebody and very quickly had enough credibility by relating to the issue they needed to solve and solving it. But there are probably many relationships that were significant in your business path. But is there one that just today, for whatever reason, just stands out as a critical relationship that had a big impact on you getting to where you're at today?
Yes, and I kind of want to do a 2-part of this. So I think unless in life you're looking at the good and the bad, you're not really growing and learning. So when you ask that question, I feel like most people's minds go to a positive relationship. So I have 2 positive ones, but then I have a negative one. And I think both guided me down the path where I'm at right now. And if you don't acknowledge those negative ones and grow from them, that you're not growing, really. So I think almost the negative helps me more. But my positive ones, so my dad has a financial advising company. And so when I was growing up, my mom was a surgical nurse, but she quit, I think when I was 9, to start running the household, because my dad got busier and busier, but his priorities were still to coach me in basketball and softball and golf and whatever. So his priorities were on point with me and my brother, but he grew a successful business where my mom had to really come in and run our lives and take care of the trips and the household and everything. So I think seeing my dad as an entrepreneur and thinking outside of the box really gave me a great foundation of I can do whatever I want in life. It is about the choices that you make that stack up. And then my mom had to make a choice, does she want sane kids? I think so. So she had to make the choice to sacrifice, her career and to help evolve my father's career and me and my brother. And my dad is still working today, so he loves what he does, and he's a very positive impact. And then when I moved to Colorado, I met one of my favorite people. His name's Bob, and he was in oil and gas, won 1 million awards, started 1 million different companies, and I actually personal trained him when I moved down here. And but he was an entrepreneur thick and thin, even though it was all oil and gas, and he just showed me so much positivity. And the same thing as like my dad did, is like, yeah, you can do it. Like you have so much determination, and you can grow and evolve with people. But they both on the foundation side of what they taught me was, it is about relationships. It is like for sure coming from your heart, coming from care, coming from love, and then your success happens. It's never about the money. It's never about that. It is about the service that you are providing and the love that you're providing to people. Mm-hmm. That is your point of life. And so they help me immensely, but then I can look at my negatives. And my negatives are, I never really worked for somebody well. I always had my own point of view. I always wanted to do what I wanted to do.
Are you a bit rogue? You
Yeah.
can't be tamed?
No, I can't. I am off
yeah,
in
you're
outer
off
space.
the reservation, people.
Yes.
Yeah.
But my biggest, I didn't do well in jobs, even growing up. But then my biggest impact was I moved to Seattle when I graduated. Because of course, when you graduate from college, you're the biggest score is to get a job right away. So I did. I felt super blessed about that. But I went into this job and it was so negative, and they wanted you to be robots. And again, I can't really be held to that structure. But then they told me I was their top producing person. And I got in trouble on a monthly basis, even though my numbers were so high. In trouble, once in a while I chewed gum. I guess they didn't like blondes there. They told me to dye my hair brunette. I guess I have a speech accent from South Dakota, so they told me I need to go to speech therapy to fix it. Whatever. But that was such a big impact, where it was woo, I'm not meant to be here. I'm not meant to be around this type of energy, but also I gotta do something great. I gotta do something where I would never hire somebody and treat them like this. So it taught me that I need to not look at it just as I want to grow a business. It taught me how I want to treat my employees and how I want to up-level them and come from love and come from respect and speak encouragement into them, and not just be a bad boss.
You've almost left me speechless. I mean, I'm a man, the calculus of dyeing your hair brunette, that's crazy. I mean, the message basically was, from what I can tell from you, is we like the production, we just don't like you.
Yeah.
And so,
also not my problem.
and it's and I love that you had such a sense of self, though, because not everybody would have. Some people might have internalized that and actually thought, maybe I'm just not good enough as a human. And you clearly had enough of a foundation of your sense of self-worth that you're this is crazy talk. And this isn't and I have value. And if you can't see it, that's your problem, like you just said. So that, good on you. And boy, I wish I had been that centered when I was younger,
Yeah, but we have to grow. We have to take those and grow from that, and that's what makes you stronger and
Right.
better. But yeah, I think a lot of that came from my foundation of my parents saying, "No, you are different. You can do what you want." So then you grow up with encouragement and that positivity, but then you're also literally born with stuff and not.
Yeah.
So I was always born to fight. So. I'm going to fight through that situation.
Yeah. And boy, if you got Jen fighting for you, you're in good shape. Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to bring in my gunslinger over here. She's going to just take care of business. When you hear business and relationship talk now, what's missing from the conversation or what is the conversation not getting right?
I don't know if there's something missing, except for my perspective is, unless I spend time, literally time, with the relationships that I've built, they're not going to be where they need to be at. So for me, like starting off so many years ago, it was like, oh, the next close, like what else, how many more people can I hire? But then you hit that wave where you can't really grow on that level, or you're going too fast where you are missing the piece that you actually loved, which is the relationship, with is the time that you spend, the connection that you have with that human. So for me, I just know that if I don't spend enough time with my clients, if I'm actually not hearing their concerns or feeling their pain, or if I don't spend enough time with my employees, we are missing, honestly, the whole point of why we're on this earth. But for sure, how I've kept my clients and employees for so long. Like, we have to take the time.
Yeah. How are you approaching scaling with more and more clients and still maintaining that kind of high trust, intimate connection between you and your clients?
Yeah, it's hard because for an owner, you are pulled in a lot of different directions. I just have to bring the right people around me. I have to bring more leaders on my team that can act like me or can show that love and comfort inside the house and with my employees. And I have made it a priority to take time to go to lunch or go to a basketball game or go to whatever, one of the, like my clients' kids' sporting events with them. Like, you have to take that time, but I have to bring other people in that can mimic my heart and effort as well, so they can be extensions of me.
Yeah. They genuinely embody the same values that you bring to the table. Yeah.
Yes.
And you're not going to force them to dye their hair a different color.
Absolutely not. We don't do that.
Sorry, but everyone here has got to be blonde. It's an old resentment I have, and everyone has to be blonde, and you all have to have a slight South Dakota accent. Yeah. Otherwise, get out of here. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have time for you then.
Yeah. It's so funny because accents are such an authenticator. When I hear an accent, it's like, oh, you come from a place, and there's a whole richness of where you come from. And I don't know. I just think on the whole, it's a value add.
I think so too.
Yeah.
That's the individualism. So
yeah,
it's
exactly.
Great.
Well, listen, this is a rapid fire pre-launch episode, so there's so much I'd love to go in with you in more depth at a later date, but we do have kind of a rapid fire ending to this, which are some quick questions to get to know you a little better personally, have a little fun, and see if we can get some quick insights. Are you up for it?
Yes.
Okay, you ready? It starts with a really frivolous thing, okay? But I think it's interesting because it's my favorite meal. All right, so what's your favorite breakfast food?
Okay, it's not my favorite meal. I don't even eat breakfast, but I have probably 4 cups of coffee or espresso shots every morning. I'm trying to survive over here.
I got it. I know what you're saying. I can't be over-caffeinated enough.
No.
All right. So then what would be your least? You don't like breakfast, and you're not the only person who's answered it that way, by the way.
Okay, good.
Yeah, some people don't like breakfast.
Yeah.
Your least favorite breakfast food? The thing that at a buffet you're like, ugh. You're like,
probably any meat, the sausage, the bacon, the whatever. I just don't eat meat, so that grosses me out.
It is not humming it's not strumming your guitar strings. Okay.
Not into it.
All right, Jen, something that you absolutely must do in your lifetime, like in your bucket.
In my bucket is probably it's a deeper one. It's to have a family.
Great. Yeah. Good. All right. What is a word in business that is overused or that drives you crazy?
Hustle. Hustle, because we can use so many different words. And even if we think that we have to hustle, we have to do it at a pace that works for your body, for your team, for your life, or else you burn out. So
that's a great one. Oh, so what would be an underused word?
Like, honestly, It's not like going with the flow, but that's not a word. But,
Yeah.
just being complacent or being okay with being okay.
Being okay with being okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, going with the flow. Yeah, that in and of itself is a whole topic. I think it's really quite wise. All right. What's the best advice for a young entrepreneur who's experiencing their first failure?
Get over it. It's not that big of a deal. Like, we put more judgment on ourselves than how the world is going to judge you about that mistake. Just on to the next one.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone else said, congratulations.
Yes.
You're further along your path of succeeding. Like you have
Yes.
this is the way you get there.
That's how
so-
you win. The more
Yeah.
failures you're stacking up is actually how you win. So
Yeah, 100%. Awesome. Okay. And what are you most curious about right now in your life, whether it's business or not?
scaling my company, I've already done a good job about that, but there's always more levels that you can go on. And then how AI is going to play a part in my business probably in the next 5 years at like what level capacity, because it's going to be huge.
And then trying to figure out, okay, but what is it for me and my business? Because it may not be the same. And it's also changing so fast, it feels like a moving target.
Yes.
So, it's like,
It
why would
is.
I had a conversation earlier this morning with someone in Singapore, and he made a good point. He's like, don't ever do the year-long subscriptions. I said, I get what you mean. Like, if you pay for a year of an AI tool, like 2 weeks from now, there's a competitor that's better, or there's something has changed. So it's there's no stability.
So true. So true.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, if somebody says, man, Jen is the bee's knees, I need to get in touch with her, where would they go to do that?
Yeah, our website is morelm.com. Our Instagram's More Lifestyle Management. My email is jen@morelm.com. Those
And
are
that's-
pretty fast ways to get a hold of me.
More LM is more lifestyle management.
Yep, and there's
Right.
only one O in more, the regular.
Yeah, it's not MOOR. It's
No.
MORELM. And I'll put it on the screen. I usually do. And so it'll make it really easy for people to get a hold of you. Jen,
Awesome.
thank you for taking time. I know you're super busy, but I really appreciate you taking some time to have a chat. You're just a delight, and you have such great insight.
Thank you. I'm so grateful. Thank
All
you for
right.
your time.
Cool. Thanks for listening and watching this conversation and the Building Business Relationship Show. The pre-launch phase is all about discovery. So if something sparked your interest, we'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts, ideas, guest suggestions, and any kind of feedback, and help us shape the conversations that come. And of course, subscribe so you'll be the very first to know when we officially launch. And in the meantime, when new content drops. And it's pretty much every week. So thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.